Here are the craziest conspiracy theories that turned out true. Starting with the bizarre and heading straight for the jaw-dropping, we're unveiling truth stranger than fiction. Stay tuned until the end to see the most unbelievable theory that actually proved to be a fact. Bad booze. Picture this. It's the roaring 20s in the US and Prohibition, a law has made alcohol illegal. Everyone should be sober, right? Wrong. People's craving for booze skyrockets, and illegal bars, let's call them underground clubs, are the new hotspots. Jazz is the soundtrack of this rebellious era, and the dance floor is never empty. So what's a government to do when the usual "don't do that" doesn't work? If you said, let's poison the alcohol, ding ding, you might be onto something. Sounds like a twisted conspiracy theory. It absolutely is. And it's also absolutely true. Here's the scoop. In those days, there wasn't much oversight on alcohol production, which meant the black market was drowning in industrial alcohol. Yup, the kind of stuff that's supposed to end up in perfumes, paint thinners, and even your car's fuel tank, not your cocktail glass. Without any pesky regulations, things got creative. Reports from that time whisper of bourbon jazzed up with ingredients like dead rats and rotten meat. A real gut rot concoction, guaranteed to make your next hangover a trip to remember. If you woke up at all. Not to brag, but my cooking might have a similar reputation. Now here's where it gets really dark. The government wasn't just watching, they saw a twisted opportunity. They whispered into the ears of alcohol manufacturers and suggested a deadly twist. Add poison. That's right, why regulate when you can annihilate?
So, the public's still drinking, huh? Time for Plan B.
Plan B? Frank, your plans go from bad to worse. What's this one? Adding perfume?
Not perfume, Edna. It's more internal disinfectant.
Oh, brilliant. From happy hour to happy ever after. Upstairs with the angels. Their gruesome thinking? If enough folks drop dead from their spiked drinks, maybe the survivors would think twice about their next gulp. Come Christmas 1926, the season was marked not by joy but by death, with nearly 100 people meeting their maker thanks to these lethal concoctions. The headlines might as well have screamed, "Your cocktail could be your last." Fast forward to 1927, when the Chicago Tribune blew the lid off this deadly secret, revealing that yes, the government had a hand in this poisonous plot. If that's not a confirmed government conspiracy, what is? Meanwhile, government-funded chemists were indeed busy bees, adding poison to alcohol. As the body count rose, even the underworld bosses, who normally thrived on the booze black market, began to panic as their clientele dwindled. Deciding enough was enough, they poured money into securing safer alcohol, pulling the chemists away from their grim tasks.
Everyone's dropping like flies, and it's bad for business. We need clean booze and fast.
What's the plan, boss? Maybe we start our own distillery. Go organic.
Organic? This ain't a farmer's market. It's the roaring 20s. But you're right. Let's get our chemists on it. We'll make alcohol so pure, even the feds might want to sip.
Right, boss. From poison to potion. We'll have the best booze in town.
Switching sides, the chemists ditched the poison game, probably saving some lives in the process. How many, you ask? Estimates suggest up to 10,000 might have fallen foul of these toxic tipples during Prohibition. But hey, they just saved the rest of America. And the outcome? Well, we all know how that turned out. Prohibition eventually ended, and these days, Americans enjoy a good drink without the fear of government interference, minus the rat tails and toxic additives. Cheers, and always know what's in your glass. Hey, before we continue, YouTube hasn't been recommending my videos lately. If you could like and watch till the end, it would help more than you know. Thanks a lot. The fruit machine. A real-life gaydar? What if I told you that there was once a time when the government had a machine designed to detect gay people? Sounds like a bad joke or a sci-fi movie scene, right? Well, it sounds as reliable as my diet plan. Buckle up, because this actually happened. And it's not fiction. It's the cold, hard truth of Canada in the 1960s, a country that deployed what they call the fruit machine to root out and fire homosexuals from public service and the military, feeling they were security risks during the paranoia-packed days of the Cold War. Imagine this, you're summoned for a routine checkup, only to be led into a room that screams interrogation more than interview. It looks more at home in a horror movie than in an office. rigged with sensors, a camera, and a black box designed to scrutinize your every reaction to a series of pictures ranging from the everyday to the explicit. The conspiracy? Government using technology to intrusively test sexual orientation under the guise of national security. Kinda like how my mom uses Facebook to intrusively check if I'm dating. The twist? It's all true. The machine's method was bizarrely simple but scary. Flash a picture and watch the eyes. If your pupils dilated a smidge too much at erotic images, or in this case, the wrong picture, labels were stamped, careers were destroyed, and lives were changed forever. So this is the fruit machine? Looks more like my grandma's old TV set. Exactly. But instead of reruns of I Love Lucy, it spots who's loving a bit too much, eh? Well, let's give it a whirl. How does it start? Do we just plug it in and it pops out rainbows or what? Nah, you show a series of pics. If their pupils dilate at the wrong one, bam, got 'em. Sounds as scientific as my method for picking lottery numbers. The RCMP, Canada's federal police, monitored thousands under this initiative, pushing their agenda of purging the government of the LGBTQ+ community, whom they viewed as risks to national safety. Well, I mean, my eyes only dilate that much when I see the bill at a restaurant. Talk about true horror. This went on until the late 1960s, leaving behind a trail of ruined lives and bitter memories, even long after the government ceased funding. The aftermath lingered like a dark cloud, with new methods of surveillance slipping into the gaps left by the dismantled fruit machine. Turns out history's the real shocker. Project Sunshine. What if I told you that Project Sunshine had nothing to do with the cheerful glow of the sun, but rather the dark shadows of Uncle Sam's Cold War agenda? Dive back to the 1950s, a decade rocked by Elvis Presley, but also by the nefarious deeds of the United States Atomic Energy Commission, the AEC, and USAF Project Rand. These brainiacs weren't jamming to rock and roll, they were busy with something chilling. Project Sunshine was their baby. And no, it wasn't about solar tech or clean energy. Their mission? To study how nuclear fallout affects Mother Nature and human beings. Kids, to be precise. Alright team, let's brighten up this room with a sunshine project that's, a bit different.
Do you mean solar panels, General? That's bright.
Not quite, Sally. Think smaller and more bony.
Oh, are we inventing tiny skeletons for Halloween decorations? Because I have ideas.
Not exactly. We're collecting them from special sources for science.
Oh, like dinosaur bones? Kids love dinosaurs.
Yeah. Let's go with that for now. Why the focus on children? Well, their rapidly growing bones have a knack for absorbing strontium-90, a nasty isotope that's a byproduct of nuclear explosions like a toxic sponge. Here's where it turns from sketchy to full-on horror flick. This whole operation was cloaked in secrecy until 1956. The big reveal? It involves snatching the bones of deceased infants and children without parental knowledge or consent. Yup, that's right, straight up body snatching, all in the name of science. The mastermind behind this grim collection was none other than Dr. Willard Libby of the AEC, who essentially called for body snatchers to contribute to their country's cause. The result? More than 1,500 young cadavers were harvested globally, with about 500 used in these ghoulish experiments. This bone-collecting spree stretched from Europe to Australia, leaving parents in the dark and in despair. When the scandal hit the headlines, thanks to the British press, it detonated like a bomb. Accusations surged about hospitals dissecting babies to ship their parts to America. Imagine the horror of a British mother claiming her stillborn baby's legs were cut off as a part of this cover-up. By 1958, Project Sunshine tried to pivot, focusing its eerie gaze on less sensitive subjects like soil and livestock in Belgium. Checking if strontium-90 could move from grass to the dinner table. Thankfully, no harm was detected in grazing animals, but that's hardly a comfort. Kinda like saying, good news, your house is haunted, but the ghost is vegan. It took decades for the full scope of Project Sunshine's sinister activities to emerge. For those caught in its dark undertow, the truth was a harsher reality than any conspiracy theory. And despite the gruesome revelations, the government barely flinched in acknowledging its role in this nightmare. Bones in the closet, more like a skeleton's worth of secrets, uncovered and laid bare for the world to see. MK Ultra. Ever wondered why every time a celebrity zones out on TV, the internet screams, MK Ultra? Yes, the conspiracy where Uncle Sam plays puppet master, making folks do bizarre things by pulling the strings behind the curtain. Sounds like a script from a sci-fi flick, right? Well, hold on to your hats because this rabbit hole goes much deeper and gets a whole lot darker. Let's rewind to the 50s, the height of the Cold War, when the world was as frosty as a Moscow winter and paranoia was everyone's favorite cocktail. The CIA, feeling the pressure to keep up with rumored Soviet mind control techniques, initiated something monstrous, Project MK Ultra. It's like they thought, hey, let's just skip the small talk and go straight to the brainwashing, shall we? This wasn't just any covert operation, it was an all-access pass to the human mind. Their wild experiments ranged from zapping dogs' brains to making them remote-control fur bombs, to slipping LSD to unsuspecting people. Yup, that happened. The aim? To crack the human mind open like a walnut and plant the stars and stripes there. So you're telling me we just zap their brains and they'll do whatever we say? Exactly. It's like turning on a TV, except the TV is someone's mind. And nobody's gonna ask, hey, why are you zapping that guy's brain? Well, if they do, just say it's government work. Ah, perfect. Nothing suspicious about that at all. The goal? To discover whether it was possible to control a person's actions by tampering with their psyche. The agency dropped loads of cash experimenting on anyone they thought they could get away with, or the society might not miss too much, from mental health patients to prisoners, you name it. They were experimented with high doses of LSD and other mind-altering drugs, no consent, no mercy. If there was a line, the CIA didn't just cross it, they erased it. One infamous case involved a man in Kentucky who was dosed with LSD for 174 consecutive days. The outcomes of this project were devastating. Psychological breakdowns, casualties, unbearable trauma, and scars so deep that they could last several lifetimes. So they were playing puppet master with people's minds, huh? Yep, and they got caught red-handed. Does this mean Santa Claus might be a CIA agent? Well, he does know if you've been bad or good, so possibly. Real lives were shattered and the CIA had to face the music. By 1973, when the details of MK Ultra trickled out to the public, the project was abruptly terminated. The CIA's initial reaction was a clumsy, whoops, our bad, but the damage was irrevocable. Decades later, some families received compensation, but it was a small solace for the depth of their suffering. A bit like my annual bonus, really, if I ever received any. Despite the government's attempts to bury this chapter, MK Ultra has rooted itself firmly in the public consciousness and pop culture. From Stranger Things to American Ultra, it's the default explanation for anything remotely odd in the limelight. Celebrities acting strange? MK Ultra. Politician making no sense? Must be MK Ultra. This conspiracy turned out to be a shocking truth. The US government really did experiment with mind control. It's a stark reminder of how deep the threads of power and paranoia can weave into the fabric of society. Unseen eyes. You know that prickly feeling when someone's watching you, even though you're just lounging at home with some popcorn and Netflix? Well, strap in, because what if I told you your paranoia might not be so unfounded? Sounds like a thriller, but guess what? It's real. Let's dive into your living room tech affair. You adore your gadgets, your smartphone, tablet, and smart TV. They seem to make life easier, right? But what if these devices don't love you back? Actually, they might be secretly plotting against you by tracking your every move. Creepy, huh? Take your smartphone, for instance, packed with microphones, GPS, and sensors. It knows your location, hears your conversations, and tracks your movements. Yes, you might think it's convenient, but it's also a goldmine for anyone looking to snoop. Ever stumbled upon the term rats? No, not those critters scurrying in alleyways, but remote access Trojans. These lines of code can turn your phone into a James Bond gadget, but without the cool car or the fancy suits. They steal passwords, eavesdrop on your chats, and even spy on you through your camera. Still think you're alone? And let's not overlook your tablet. It may look innocent, but hackers use something called touch logger to track what keys you press based on how you tilt the device. Yikes. There goes your password. So next time you tilt, remember it's not just your screen that's shifting. But wait, it gets juicier. Your non-mobile tech at home? They could be traitors too. That smart TV you adore could be feeding your darkest binge-watching secrets or viewing history straight to hackers. Thanks to a nasty little security flaw, it also lets hackers spread malware to USB devices attached to TVs. And your gaming console? Well, it could be an undercover agent watching you in your least glamorous moments. Yeah, even that 2 AM zombie slaying session in your PJs. Don't you start watching me too! Relax, I only judge your poor aim and questionable strategy. Great, even my console is a critic. Don't worry, your secret bad moves are safe with me. Think disconnecting from the internet makes you safe? Ha! With malware like Flame lurking around, capable of hitching a ride from one USB stick to another, no device is truly safe. Feels like every tech device I own is out to get me, just like my ex. And that's not even start on those smart meters and Kinect cameras, because yes, they might be watching too. Maybe I should just throw all of you out. You'll miss me when I'm gone. Who'll remind you of your mom's birthday? Fair point, but can you stop watching me eat pizza in bed? No promises. It's the highlight of my day. But hey, before you go full hermit and toss all your electronics into a bonfire, remember there are ways to fight back. Slap some tape over that camera. Craft a password that even you can't remember, and think twice before clicking on any shady links. So next time you cuddle up with your gadgets, just remember, keep your friends close, your enemies closer, and your devices, well, let's just say keep them in check, because in this digital age, the unseen eyes could be closer than you think. And yes, this conspiracy about your own gadget spying on you, it's as real as it gets. Roswell Cover-up. Dive into the heart of Roswell in 1947, where a mysterious crash turned a ranch into the epicenter of alien conspiracy theories, when Mac Brazel, a local rancher, stumbled upon a debris field of tinfoil, rubber, and sticks. It wasn't just garbage. This discovery would soon catapult a sleepy desert town into the global spotlight and rewrite history, challenging everything we thought we knew about Cold War secrets and sparking a global UFO craze. It's post-World War II, everyone's still jittery, and the US and the Soviets are eyeballing each other with nuclear binoculars, making the timing of Mac's discovery even more electrifying. Naturally, Mac does what anyone would do, hauls the space junk to the sheriff, who in turn rings up the Roswell Army airfield. We're here to take over. This is now a matter of national security. National security? Did he find a Russian spy camera or what? It's a, flying disc. A flying disc? What, like a frisbee? Not exactly. And here's where it gets juicy. The military, perhaps a tad too hastily, proclaims they've recovered a flying disc. Hello, media storm. For a moment in July 1947, Roswell becomes ground zero for alien hunters, thanks to a screaming headline in the Roswell Daily Record. But here comes the oopsie moment. Gentlemen, we need a solid story. Ideas? It's a weather balloon. Brilliant. Simple, boring, no one will dig further. But, sir, what if they do? Then we'll say it's a birthday balloon for the president. Yeah, that'll hold. Almost immediately, the military flips the script. Just kidding, folks. It's only a weather balloon. Right, and I'm secretly a millionaire. If only my bank account got that memo. The quick switcheroo fuels decades of conspiracy theories. Leap to 1980, and the plot thickens with the Roswell Incident book, which spins a yarn about the weather balloon being a cover for the real deal. Alien tech, supposedly stashed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, while the public got the good old bait and switch with some balloon scraps. Fast forward to 1994, and the US Air Force drops a bombshell. Alright, it was actually a spy balloon, part of Project Mogul for eavesdropping on Soviet nukes. Yet, despite the air-clearing attempt, the UFO diehards aren't swallowing it. In 1997, another attempt by the Air Force to squash rumors of alien bodies, blaming the mix-up on misidentified parachute crash test dummies, does little to dampen the enthusiasm of UFO buffs. They're as persistent as my mom, trying to set me up on dates. They're convinced it's just more smoke and mirrors and a long line of cover-ups. So here's the kicker.
The real conspiracy? Not aliens, but a high-altitude spy balloon project, veiled under layers of weather balloon stories to keep the Soviets in the dark. Roswell, a tale of Cold War espionage mistaken for extraterrestrial drama, confirms that sometimes the craziest conspiracy theories have their roots in an unexpected truth. If today's truths blew your mind, brace yourself. Next up, we're switching from conspiracy to captivity with the world's craziest prison escapes. Watch as daring individuals outwit and outrun the clutches of maximum security. You'll be on the edge of your seat as we uncover escapes that are so extreme they'll leave you questioning everything. I'll see you there!